times have we tried to do this live stream? That's
I
the question of the
know.
day.
Exactly. So crazy. Hey, you guys, welcome everybody to CarnivorousGrama Speaks and Meeting Wellness. We're back together again, two old chums, and we want to talk about what happens when you spend years on a meat based way of eating. So, we're really excited to be here. And my name is Robyn Heron. I am your carnivorous grandma. I've been a carnivore for 3 whole years. And so now a little bit over 3 years and changed my life. And so, Cristie, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I am Cristie. I am a teacher in Southern California, but I have been a carnivore for just about 3 years. Kind of depends on if you want to count my keto days. When I was keto, I was eating a lot of meat, like mostly meat. And then, so that started February of 2023. So that's been a little over 3 years. But for sure, by June of 2023, I was full on carnivore. So in a couple of months from now, I'll be for sure at that 3 year mark too. And yeah, my life is completely changed as well, Robyn.
So this is so cool. I'm so glad that you are back over here on the channel. It's been a minute. I mean, you and I have done a lot of different stuff together over the years. And last week we tried to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I was
We
on a
did.
train and I'm not even sure like what happened with my audio, but I could not hear a thing you were saying. So thank you for accommodating me to come back and do this again tonight.
Well, remember we had the second try and you had tornadoes like surrounding you.
Was that last week? So it's been multiple
2 weeks
weeks.
ago, we braved a terrible internet on a train. And then last week, it was the plethora of tornadoes in Robyn's neighborhood.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't even know what to do with that because we have earthquakes out here. I don't know, Robyn.
That was crazy. That was
Yes.
so crazy. I was down in the basement. So first of all, I'm trying to cook dinner, rushing around trying to cook dinner for the grandkids before the show, right? So
Yes.
in the middle of cooking the dinner, there's a tornado warning. So turn the stove off and go down in the basement. We're all down there huddled, and I'm doing laundry because we're in the laundry room.
That
But
sounds like a very mom/grandma move, Robyn.
exactly. Go back upstairs. I'm like, I'm gonna go upstairs and finish this food before the show and get up there, and then another tornado warning hit. So yeah, that was a crazy, crazy time. The weather has been insane out here. Cold,
Yeah.
I mean, like extremely, extremely cold, snow, and then like I'm in Wisconsin. I'm here working this week. And today or yesterday, I think we started out in the morning at like 20 degrees. And then by
Mhm.
the end of the day, it was 68 degrees. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why people wonder why I stay in California. Well, let me tell you, our weather is one of the very, very big reasons why.
I
So
imagine.
we're just having some nice days it's been in the 80s. Today was in the 70s. It's going to cool off, but it's still going to be in the 70s, all week. We might get a little rain at the end of the week. That'll be nice. But yeah, we're definitely not in the 20 degrees over here. That doesn't really happen too much.
It has been crazy. The weather has been insane, and it doesn't seem like it's stopping with its insanity quite yet, even though we are in springtime. So yeah, it's been really, really interesting trying to get us here together today.
Yes. So I'm very glad that we finally got this together. So I would love to start out because last time we were just kind of chatting and then it's like we were trying to wait for the train internet to work and we never really got the topic going. And then somebody in the comments was like, well, I wanted to hear about your benefits. And they were like bummed out because we never got to, I think our video was like over 20 minutes long, but like we never got to any benefits because you kept
Right.
having to like kick it over to me. I mean,
That
it
was
was a
so
hot mess.
crazy.
It's
Cristie,
fine.
you're awesome. You're awesome.
So here's what I have. I will tell you my first benefit and that I noticed when I went carnivore, accidentally, I might add, that just my anxiety just dropped. And I didn't even know I was having anxiety. I didn't even
Mhm.
think that I was an anxious person. If you would have said, hey, Cristie, do you have anxiety? I would have said, no, I
Mm.
don't have any anxiety. till I went carnivore. And then it was like all of a sudden, things that used to make me feel anxious, I guess, that I didn't realize I was even feeling anxious, like I just wasn't anxious about them. And I was like, well, that's super weird. And then another one just happened yesterday. So, like, I'll tell a news story because I've told the same story a bunch of times about when I first started carnivore. So, yesterday, well, a little while ago, it occurred to me that my car needed tires. Well, I didn't want to go. I still don't enjoy really going to like a tire store, a car dealership, a hardware, Home Depot type of place. Like, I don't want to go there. But before, I literally would have avoided it. Like, nope, I'm going to go hide.
Right.
I'm not going to go do that. I'm going to go get someone else to do that for me. Or I would do it put my big girl pants on and do it. But the whole time I'd be like, I hope nobody's looking at me. This is the worst, you know? And so, like, yesterday, my car, I needed tires. And yesterday, it's like I had an appointment. I made an appointment. I went over there. I got my tires. I had to sit there for 3 hours while they put on tires. But, like, so that was terrible. But it wasn't terrible because I was nervous and anxious about what, like, the mechanics or whatever you want to call them were thinking about me and my lack of knowledge about tires and that kind of stuff. I was always like, they're judging me because I don't know anything about tires.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Oh,
funny.
uh-huh.
I had a similar thing, with I knew I had anxiety. I had severe, severe anxiety to the point where I went to the doctor and said, "Hey, doc, you're going to have to put me on something because I can't function. I can't live my normal life." So I knew I had anxiety, but what I didn't know I had was, or I sort of knew I had this social anxiety.
Mm.
So, when you do your strengths finder tests, it says, well, you like to be around people that you know. Those kinds of things, right? So, I always would be looking at like my mom and sisters, they are social butterflies. They constantly are talking to people, meeting new people, all of those things. And I'm like a wallflower. So I always said, well, I don't think I'm shy, but I'm definitely having this like symptoms like a shy person. I don't want to like introduce myself. I'll just like stand over here by myself till somebody I know comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I noticed that I was no longer having that issue. I didn't even realize that it was kind of an issue. I just all of a sudden started talking to random people in the grocery store. I would never do that, or talking to people, in the elevator, talking to people on the plane, talking to people in different places.
Yes.
And so that social anxiety piece of it was a big factor, and something that I thought like resolved really fast. I remember going to Carrie's meetup in Chicago, the very first Chicago meetup for Healing Humanity.
I remember when you went to that and I was like,
Yeah.
go Robyn. You got to meet Dr. Hampton and all that stuff. And I was so jealous.
It was so awesome. But I was like, "Hi, I'm Robyn, and da 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 da." Who is this person?
Yes.
Who is she?
Yes.
I don't even know, like even, to be on social media like this, and going to all these meetups and meeting all these new people and doing all that stuff. That's stuff I would never have done before.
Yes. Same. I never would have made a YouTube channel. My first meetup was when I met you at Hack Your Health. Not the last one. I
Mhm.
didn't go to the last one, but the last one that was in Austin.
Right. 2 years
And,
ago.
all of you guys that I knew from YouTube, that was okay. But yeah, it was crazy to me that I'm just walking up to like like the famous doctors, right? That were all like, oh my gosh, it's Dr. So-and-so, Dr. Baker. And I
Right.
was just like,
Yep.
hey, Dr. Baker, can I get a selfie with you? Like all kind of confident. Like, what? You
Right.
know, it was
Yes,
just like
yes.
easy to go do it. It was crazy to me because that
The
never
funny
would have been
thing
me.
the funny thing is who knew that food was causing that? Like, it's
Yes.
the food that was causing all of that anxiety and, like, just fears, I was afraid
Yes.
to answer my phone, like, people would call my phone. I was afraid to answer the phone because I just knew, like, somebody has died or something has
Mm-hmm.
happened. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I'm like, "Don't call me, you better just text me first. Give me a setup and let me know you're gonna call."
Yes.
Because yeah, I was just had so many fears.
So I will just quick thing and then we can move on. But my mom was with me at that Hack Your Health. And because all the people like, you and we know it's like the class of 23, right? The carnivore class of 23. And we were all
Yes.
there with our YouTube channels and we all kind of knew each other from doing live streams and other, collaborations together. And my mom was just like, she just kept looking. She was like, who are you? Like, she could not believe how many people knew me, were talking to me, were excited to get their picture with me. She was like, I knew you were doing this YouTube thing, but literally, who are you? She didn't recognize that person that I was that could go out and like make friends with all of these people. Basically, we started as strangers, and then we just became friends doing this. But yeah, it surprised even her. So it's not just me. Like, I'm not the only one to notice it, is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
Super
I mean,
cool.
I went there by myself. And I was like, I'm gonna go down here, stay in the hotel where G and Frederick were staying, because I'm going down here by myself and I'm gonna go and meet all my carnivore friends. So that was such an amazing event. I mean, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I came home like so sad it was over, for that whole like week after it was over. I was like, because it was just so fun to be around all of you guys, that we all have a similar outlook and you're not constantly having to explain why you only eat meat.
Exactly. I've been doing that all this week. I'm meeting a whole new team and stuff, and I'm about how somebody was just talking about cholesterol, and I'm like, it's a fallacy, it's a scam.
All right, I'm gonna skip because you said that. So I do have kind of like a list of benefits so that we can stay on track here, because I know people wanted to know like our benefits, but I'm gonna skip because you said cholesterol, it's a fallacy, it's a scam. You guys, this is a new one. So I have heard other carnivores, and I know you have too, Robyn, heard other carnivores talking about like, I don't get sunburned as quickly anymore. And I don't know if you noticed this about me, but my skin is very fair. That's a joke. Of course, you notice that. Like, anybody that meets me, like, I have super fair skin. Okay. Super fair. And I would just barely step outside into the sun. And I'm not kidding, like, not even 5 minutes. And I would just be beet red, like completely sunburnt. And all these other carnivores we're talking about, like, I mean, it's not that we are sunburn proof or anything, but just takes like a lot longer. Like, I can actually be out in the sun for a while. Well, that didn't happen to me at all right away. I did not notice that right away. I still don't. I go outside in the sun mostly like at sunrise, that kind of thing. I'm not usually out in the sun for long periods of time just because I do get sunburn. But occasionally we have, like at school, because I'm a teacher, we have these outdoor like field days, and still every time I would like come in, sunburn from those. But the other day I was in, like, literally like 2 weeks ago or something, I was in a meeting because we teachers, we get pulled to a lot of meetings, and it was a freezing cold room. Like, whoever's office I was in, like, their air conditioner was way too low for my liking. And it was an hour and a half. And I was just in there just shivering for this meeting. And then it was my lunchtime. And I was like, yes, I'm going to go sit outside. So it was noon. Lunch at my school, lunch is 11:45 to 12:30. Okay. And I went, we have this outdoor area with these benches and little plants and stuff, and it's really nice. And I told my team of teachers, I'm like, I don't know what you guys are going to do, but I'm going to go sit outside. So the both of them went outside and of course sat in the shade, but I was like, no shade for me. And I like went out in the sun, and it felt so good. And for 45 minutes, I sat in that sun, and it was right at noon, and I did not get sunburned.
Yeah.
I was like,
I've heard a lot of people say that. I've heard a lot of people say that. I think it's, removal of seed oils from.
You froze up. She froze up, guys. Let's see if she comes back. She was talking about removal from seed oils. So you're like, what does sunburn? Hopefully she's going to come back. But you're like, Cristie, what does sunburn have to do with cholesterol? Because Robyn said cholesterol, and then you connected that to sunburn. Well, here you go. One of the things that cholesterol does in your body is all of your cells need that cholesterol to make the outside of that cell, right? The cell membranes needs a lot of cholesterol. And so if you are consuming a lot of seed oils, this is like a theory that I've heard. So don't quote me. I'm not a doctor or a scientist. I'm an elementary school teacher. But the membranes of your cells will be made from the seed oils because it's a plant sterol. It's like close to cholesterol, but it's plant sterol. So it's not for our bodies to use, right? It's the plant version. But when we consume it, it's close enough that our body goes, all right. And then it starts using that for building blocks. And so what I've heard is if you've eaten a lot of seed oils, your cell membranes will be made out of those plant sterols instead of human cholesterol and or animal cholesterol or whatever. And then, they're kind of susceptible to things like sunburn because they're not as strong and hardy as they really should be. So being carnivore for 3 years, oh, hi, Thomas. Nice to see you. Yes, Robyn is here, but Robyn's, she's traveling for work and her internet is like sketchy. So it just like, she glitched out and hopefully she's going to pop back in here. And then I'm sorry, XCY Brox, please ask your question. Robyn is in charge of this live stream, so I can't click anybody or do anything. I can only talk. But if you put your question in the chat, I can see it. Here she comes, and I will answer it. Hey, Robyn, I was just talking to people in the chat. I took over. What I was explaining is why did I talk about sunburn when you said cholesterol? So you said cholesterol and I said, oh, cool, sunburn. And I was explaining that you had said seed oils. Yes. So the seed oils, if you eat them, they're close enough. So your body goes, close enough, makes all the cell membranes out of that. But then they're not really as hardy as they should be. That's kind of what I said in a nutshell. So there we are with those kind of damaged cells, cells made out of the wrong things. And that's why we tend to get sunburned. But never did I think, or, I didn't know but yeah, 45 minutes for me in the sun at noon is unprecedented. Like nothing, amazing. Like my face, my arms were out there. I felt really good actually the whole time. Like I was happy to sit there in the sun. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm getting too hot or I need to run away and go hide in the shade or I need to whatever. So it was really cool. And I think you're right, Robyn. I think my body finally, I know it's going to take longer, like about 6 years to get most of those seed oils out of there. Yes. But, I'm halfway to that point. So maybe my cells are a lot more healthy.
Right.
And I'm going to throw in there that I'm 50 years old. So do most 50-year-olds, Robyn, get healthier as they age? Because I don't think they do.
I don't think they do. Not if they're not eating a proper human diet.
That's
they
right.
do not. They typically we get all these different diseases of aging, right? And so, get on medications and all that stuff. But I don't know about you, Cristie, but I'm not on any medications. I just take supplementation, a few different supplements, no medications.
Yes, we can get into the supplements if you want to, because I do the same. So I do take supplements and I never took any of the supplements that I'm currently taking. I never took before carnivore. So it's things that I do now. But yeah, no medications, that I'm not on any medications. And I see the people around me, like it feels like every so often though, somebody's telling me like, well, I was on 1 blood pressure medication and now I'm on 2 because my blood pressure still wasn't under control. So I'm on a second one. Yes. Right. So that's the kind of things that I'm hearing from the people that are around my age, around me.
The interesting thing is I had hypertension and was on medication for it. And, they started putting you on, I started having these headaches and I went to the doctor. I kind of knew that it was going to be blood pressure. For some reason, it felt like a headache from high blood pressure. I don't know what that feels like, but when I went to the doctor, they put me on medication for it. But I knew that you could eliminate hypertension with a diet, with food. And so I went on keto and eliminated my hypertension.
Okay, awesome.
So, I didn't have to go all the way carnivore for that particular thing. And, I eliminated that hypertension.
Can I ask you because my one friend that I'm specifically thinking about, she's always talking about her high blood pressure and the medications and whatever. And then she loves to cook and she's always, and she's just eats what she wants to eat, but she loves to cook and she does try to buy like whole foods most of the time and that kind of thing. But she has this high blood pressure and she's always talking about, and I didn't put much salt in that because, my high blood pressure. And
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm just like, okay, well, here's my salt, and
Yeah.
I'm going to put it right on my eggs, all over these eggs that I'm eating for my lunch. So she
Right.
watches me and she knows what I do, but I don't even want to try to explain to her. So how did you know? Because most people would not say, I think if I asked most people, they would not say, if I go keto, it's going to fix my high blood pressure.
No, I don't, I think I was watching a lot of YouTubers and stuff like that in the keto space
Okay.
and, and getting on all these, forums and stuff on the internet.
Mhm.
And and so somehow I had the idea that I would be able to reverse high blood pressure. Somebody did it. And I was like, I think
Okay.
I can reverse this with a way of eating. So I went keto and
Okay.
it really worked. And it was a high plant-based keto, honestly, high fat, but a lot of vegetables. So if I think back on my plate, I had a lot of like fat kid broccoli and stuff like that on my plate, a lot of cauliflower, heads
Mm-hmm.
of cauliflower coated in mayonnaise and stuff like that.
Got
And
it. Yep.
so, and it eliminated my hypertension. And so, and I, there's a book out called The Salt Fix. It's been out for a while. Hey, John. He says he's popping in to say hi. Hey, John.
Hi,
Thank you for
John.
popping in. We appreciate
Yeah.
you. Um, you know, that we are undersalted. Most of us are undersalted, not oversalted. So we got to think about this. If you go to the hospital for anything, you
Hmm.
go to the hospital for any reason, the first thing that they're going to put you on is a sodium drip. Is because you're dehydrated. And most of us
Mm.
are going around dehydrated and under salted. That salt helps the water gets into your cells. So you're
Yes.
drinking a whole bunch of water and you're
Hmm.
not having salt, and that water is not hydrating you from the
In fact, it's
inside.
flushing out the whatever salt you do have, it's flushing it out. So it's probably making it
Exactly.
worse if you're
It's probably
already
making it worse.
yes.
So most of us are undersalted, but here's what I want to say about salt is stay away from that umbrella girl. Stay away from the umbrella girl because that salt has sugar in it, and
Mhm.
sugar is the main problem.
Yes. Yes, that Umbrella Girl salt and some other brands too. It does have dextrose, I believe, as an
Yes.
ingredient, which Robyn is right. That is actually sugar, which is just so silly to me. Also, that salt is highly processed, and people say, "Well, what about the iodine?" We said supplements. Here we go. Look at me, segue, Robyn. Look at me with
Yeah,
my
good for
mental clarity
you.
right here. Okay, talking about supplements. So they
Mhm.
put iodine in the salt, and there's no specific reason why it was salt other than everybody uses salt, but people were getting goiters and things like that in certain parts of the country, and so they're like,
Yeah,
let's put iodine in the salt. Well, the problem with that is a lot of that iodine evaporates before you even get it into you. So, and it's not
yeah,
very high quality. Like none of those ingredients are very high quality. So I use a
absolutely.
mineral salt, which I guess shall remain nameless today since there's some controversy going around the internet about
I
it.
still use the unnamed salt too.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I keep in my salt because I like it. But and then I use an iodine supplement. Now the reason I use the iodine supplement is several, I guess a few, but one of them is I definitely had some hypothyroid numbers on
Mm,
my blood work. Now I haven't
mhm.
had that blood work done in a while. My doctor did order it like 4 months ago, and I have not been a good patient, so I don't have any current numbers. But I noticed that I do feel better taking the iodine. And Robyn, since we chatted last, I like got over my fear of, because we had talked about the fear of the 5%. Yeah. I got over my fear of the 5%. I just used, fewer drops of that because for the
Yeah,
2%, I was having to use so many. So I
right.
used about
Yep.
6 drops a day of that 5%.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
I just put it in my coffee. So iodine is one of the supplements that I do. And you know what? Dr. Berry would say, eat your seafood. And I say, Dr. Berry, I really, I appreciate that advice, but I don't like seafood.
Right.
So
So
I'm
I
not
just
going to do
interviewed
that.
Dr. Bright,
I
and
know
we
you
talked
did. I was
all
there. I
about
was
iodine.
watching.
Oh, thank you so
Yes,
much.
it
But
was
yes,
fabulous.
and she definitely highly recommends iodine for almost everybody.
Mhm.
And she did talk about the fact that that iodine that's in that salt is not it's almost not even iodine for that kind of use, right? It's just not a
Yes.
good quality iodine.
Yes.
And she said that you're not gonna get too much iodine. If you have too much iodine, you will pee it out. And I
Yeah,
trust what she said,
as long as your kidneys are healthy.
as long as your
And
kidneys
I
are
am not a
healthy.
doctor, and this is not medical advice, but as long as your
Right,
kidneys
right.
are healthy,
Mhm,
you
mhm,
should just pee it out. Now, personally, and again, I'm not gonna name names, this is not my story to tell. I know of 2 people that did have a problem when supplementing iodine. I'm not gonna tell their story because
mhm.
it's not mine to tell. So it's not like you said, most people, right? Like, so you just have to be careful. You do have to titrate up. You can't just be like, I'm gonna buy Christie's going to do 6 drops of the 5%. Cool. I'm going to buy some 5% and do 6 drops tomorrow. Like, I wouldn't do that. That's not what I did. I started on the 2% with 1 drop, and then I just kind of slowly titrated up.
Yeah, and
Um,
you can do an iodine patch test on your arm to see if you need to supplement with iodine. So
yeah,
that's
although
something that
that's
you
not
can
the
test.
gold standard, but the gold standard I'm not going to do because you have to collect your urine for 24 hours, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
she
down
did
for
talk
that.
about she did
The
talk
iodine
about that.
loading test where you have to collect your urine for 24 hours.
No thanks.
I don't feel like it's causing me a problem. Like if I had a problem, I just don't feel like it's causing me a problem. And
Right.
when as
Yeah.
long as I take my iodine and then one other supplement because of my thyroid that I do take is like a
Mhm,
beef thyroid, like desiccated beef thyroid, like a
mhm.
grass-fed desiccated beef thyroid. And when
Right.
I forget to take those, my energy is a little bit lower. So I notice that when I take those together, like it seems to fix whatever the low thyroid symptoms are that I have. And I really need to do my blood work because then I'd have numbers to back that up. I have no numbers to back that up, only
Okay.
symptoms
That's
or lack
okay,
of
that's
symptoms.
okay.
Yeah. So those
Yeah,
are
so
two of my supplements. How about you, Robyn? What other
yes,
supplements
so for
do you?
me, I kinda slowed down on the iodine, but I do intend to bring it back in. And I too, like you, when we were first hearing about doing iodine a couple of years ago, about almost 3 years ago,
Mhm.
everybody was talking about doing iodine.
Yep.
I got the 2%, not the 5%.
Yeah.
But I will probably go ahead and get the 5% and start kind of over again with
Yes.
iodine
Yes.
and titrate myself up to, I don't know, however many drops. But
Yeah.
what happened to me with the iodine was I titrated it all the way up to 2 dropperfuls of the 2%. And
Mhm.
the people on my YouTube channel were like, "What are you doing? You can't do that. You're gonna
Oh
kill
my
yourself."
god. Yeah.
So, they
Well,
scared me. They scared me. I was like, "Let me
I
see."
didn't so I didn't come to the 6 drops for nothing, and honestly, I don't have a link, I don't remember because I came up with it, and then I once I'm, like, good, then I think the reasons why I kinda maybe sometimes go out of my brain because I don't need them anymore, but then I should remember that I'm on YouTube and maybe those reasons would help somebody else. It was not Dr. Bright, it was Dr. Brownstein. So Dr. Brownstein is the other one that talks about, iodine. If you go find his
Okay.
videos, and there
Mhm.
was one video that I watched of his where it definitely talked about a certain number of not drops, but like, I don't know what the units are, like milligrams or whatever the units are. I don't know what they are. So
Mhm.
don't come after me on that. But whatever they are, not drops, but the other units. And then he talked about the equivalent. And then he talked about every patient that he has, he puts on between this many and this many, and then how many of milligrams or whatever are in each drop. So my 6
Mhm.
drops are like in the kind of middle of
Yeah.
that range that he says he puts all his patients on. So
Right.
I'm sorry that that is very not specific at all, but I didn't come up with that number as like I'm just randomly titrating up until I stopped at 6. I stopped at 6 because that was sort of a sweet spot in
That
like
was
what Dr.
recommended.
Brownstein kind of gives his
Right.
patients. So
Yeah,
that's how
I
I
just kept on going up, 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 and the people started
mm,
freaking out and freaking me
yeah,
out. So, but after talking to Dr. Bright, I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to worry about this so much. I'm going to go ahead
yeah,
and do it. From
do it.
other supplements that I take, I pretty much take electrolytes almost every day.
Me too.
Um, and I realize that, like, if I don't take electrolytes, sometimes I will get muscle cramping,
Hmm.
like Charlie horses and calf cramps, my toes will
Yes,
cramp and all that kind of stuff. So
yes.
I have not stopped taking electrolytes. That's the main thing that I take. And then I have magnesium, and D3K2 that I
Okay.
take. So that's pretty
Okay.
much it, though.
I don't take any extra magnesium other than what is in my electrolyte. So like I don't take any magnesium on top of that. But I
Mhm.
I feel like if I do I haven't like stopped them, but I have started sprinting again, Robyn. So we could talk about that in a minute. But
Oh, good for you.
I have noticed that now that I'm sprinting, like I sometimes it hasn't done the full on cramp because oh my gosh, that hurts. But I've noticed, I don't know if it's because I'm exercising more now, but like I'll get that little like almost like my calf wants to cramp, and I'm like, oh no.
Mhm. Oh, I
So I
hate that
think that if I
feeling.
did stop taking my electrolytes, that it probably would cramp. And
Right.
then
Yep.
I do take a D3K2 as well.
Yep.
And I have an omega-3 because, like I said, I don't like seafood. I have
Mhm.
an omega-3 because of that reason, but I'm not very good about taking it. But I have it and I
Yeah.
take it sometimes when I remember, like if I feel
Yeah.
like it.
I had some like fish oil tablets before
Mhm.
because like they made me burp up. Like I didn't like
Yes.
that. So I'm like, no thanks.
These that I have don't. Like I looked for ones where like the review said they didn't do that because I know they're infamous for that. And these
Yeah.
don't, but I need to take them more consistently because I took them like every day for a little bit, but probably not long enough to know if I'm noticing a difference. I don't know. Who knows
Mhm.
if there's a difference on any of these things. I will say
Right.
I notice a difference with my iodine in my thyroid because I have more energy when I take those. And if I forget, I
Okay.
do notice. The
Yes.
D3K2, I don't necessarily notice anything, but I know
Mhm.
that that's really good for getting that calcium into your bones and not in your veins, right? So like I
Exactly.
don't feel like
Yes.
that's something that you notice. And
Right.
then who knows? And then with the electrolytes, I would notice because I start to cramp. So really, the only
Mhm.
like maybe I don't know if it's unnecessary or whatever you want to call it, or I don't know, is the omega-3s. I did start Zach on my son, who's a carnivore, on creatine because I've been hearing a lot of like
Mm.
Dr. Boz and people talking about
Mhm.
creatine as a brain supplement, and the reason he's a carnivore is for ADHD, which is a brain
Yeah.
issue. So
I
he
can't tell
likes
you
taking
what my
it.
experience. Oh. Go ahead.
But in you did tell me about your creatine experience. It was sketchy because it was when you were on the train. I know it did not go well for you with
Oh,
the
no, it didn't. But that's
but
okay.
he doesn't have any bad side effects, and he will just say that he likes taking it, but I can't get it out of him like, what do you notice? But when I say,
Mm.
"Do you want us to still keep taking it?" He says, "Yes." So I'm like, "Okay, so he's like something positive is happening or he wouldn't be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, keep putting that in my water, please."
Right.
So
Yes.
it's cheap. I get the bulk supplements, which they don't have any like additives and they're not expensive. It's just the creatine monohydrate, and
Yep.
that's all it is. And I put it in his water with his electrolytes, and he drinks that while he's at school every day. And he
Good
likes
for
it, but
him.
I can't pinpoint like what it is about it because he won't elaborate because he's a
Well,
teenager.
he's a teenager. Yeah, what do you expect?
I know.
That's good. I think I chose the wrong thing. I
Mm,
just got whatever Dr. Mindy was recommending, which was a creatine complex, and I probably should have just went straight creatine, but now
mm,
I'm gonna just wait because
yeah.
I don't the what happened when I took that, my hands just blistered all up.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, no. No, no, and I
So
took it
what
for 2
Dr. Boz
days and
recommends is just the creatine monohydrate, I think is what it's called. It's like
Yep.
the cheapest and it's the one that's studied the most, and
Mhm.
it penetrates all where it's supposed to go like just fine.
Okay.
And so for
I
like bang
probably
for
will
your
try it
buck and all of
again.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
I
probably do
haven't
another
tried it.
experiment, but,
Yeah.
because, one of the reasons that I'm on carnivore is for brain health,
Yes.
because some of the things that I don't want in my life is, like, Alzheimer's
Mhm.
and dementia, which,
Yes.
sort of runs in my family. I'm already doing what I can around food, but, that brain health piece, and then also Dr. Mindy was saying how creatine helps with sleep.
Yes.
And, I get very poor sleep most of the time. I obviously don't sleep enough, but, I thought, "Oh, that's great if I could take a supplement that would help me sleep better," but
Hmm.
I couldn't even stay on it long enough to even tell.
Okay, well, maybe I'll try it if I didn't hear about the whole sleep part of things because if I'm
Mhm.
not if I get a poor night of sleep, it's because I go to sleep and then I wake up and I can't go back to sleep. That's usually
Mhm.
so if it would help
Yep.
that, then I would be down with giving it a shot.
Yeah,
Okay,
she
here's
has a
another
whole
benefit.
schedule.
Here's another benefit I was going to throw out there, Robyn. What about like hunger and like food noise?
Oh my God, what a dramatic difference. Because
Yes.
I was completely food obsessed. Like, always talking about food, always thinking about food, always thinking about my next meal, always wanting to see what you're eating. Just all the things about food. I was had those racing thoughts around food. And about 3 months in, because my mom and I had this thing where we would talk back and forth about what we ate today and all this stuff. All of a sudden, I realized, what I really don't care what you ate. I don't care what you ate. I don't want to talk about food. And
Yeah.
so that was a huge change. And then going from eating 5, 6, 7 times a day, you know,
Mm-hmm.
down to once or twice a day. So I'm definitely not experiencing hunger the way I used to when I was in.
Absolutely. I'm the same. Just my food noise was a little bit with a little twist on it. So it was just as noisy as your food noise, but mine was always around, don't you dare get fat. You better not get fat. How many calories are in that food that you're going to eat? I probably 95% of my life was restricting food and then, but like in a super controlling way that my brain was always having to like supervise.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it wasn't just like, I'm going to eat like lean chicken and broccoli. It wasn't just that. It was how many calories are in how much of that chicken and broccoli. And then tomorrow you got to beat your score. You got to get those calories lower. So how can you cheat? What cheat code can you do? And so that's where my race, it was very racing, like all the time, just calculating math equations in my head about
Mhm.
calorie counting and not even so much grams of like anything but just the calories. It was all, calories in, calories out. How many adults in my
Yes.
life told me like eat less, move more, or not that they
Mhm.
were telling me that, but it was like you would hear them talking about it to each other. Like as
Yep.
the adults in my life, as like my dad started putting on weight, I would hear him say things like that. I just got to eat less and move more. And then in my brain, I was
Right.
like, aha, eat less, move more. Like I got that message, even though he wasn't saying
Yes.
it to me. And I didn't really do the move more a lot. I really did the eat less part. And it was an obsession for how little, I could eat. And yeah, that's just gone. Like I don't do any of that anymore. If when I get hungry, I just eat some eggs or eat a steak or eat some burger patties or eat some chicken thighs or whatever I'm going to
Yeah.
eat. And
Right.
then I
Mhm.
just go a long time. Like I don't need to eat 5, 6, 7 times a day. It's not
Right.
after 2 hours I'm hangry or my blood sugar
Right.
drops and I'm unstable or none of that stuff anymore. It's really cool.
It is very, very cool. And those, that food obsession and tracking and managing and all of that stuff, like even when I was on keto with the macros and you got to have 20 carbs or less, and is it total carbs or net carbs and all these different tracking mechanisms. And is you going to put it in your fitness pal or you're going to use chronometer and all these different things about that stuff made me feel so obsessed,
Yes.
so obsessed. And I just love the fact that I really don't have to track anything. I just eat till I'm full,
Mhm.
and then that's it.
Mhm.
It's very simple. No
And I
tracking.
know when I'm full. Like the other day, I made a short. I think it was a short. I'm pretty sure it was a short. It was a video talking about like I don't eat leftover ribeye unless I do this. And then somebody and they're joking around me, but they're like, "What's leftovers?" I'm like, "Well, here's the thing. I got full, so I had leftover ribeye because I was full." And
Mhm.
so I don't usually like leftover meat unless it's cold. I'll either eat it cold or like for ribeye, I will like slice it up, put it in the pan, and then make some scrambled eggs with like the little bit of ribeye. You just like heat the ribeye just enough to sort of melt the fat a little bit and then put some
Right.
scrambled eggs in there. It's delicious. So that's what I was doing. But
Mhm.
yeah, people were like, what leftover ribeye? I'm like, the leftover ribeye I had after I got full, apparently. But
Apparently, I don't
yeah,
very rarely have leftover ribeye, but every
every
now
now
and
and
then I
then
got full.
I would always try to eat. the rest of whatever it was. What I notice about my son is he really does not have that issue. It's like crazy to me because for me, if I have a bite or two left, I'm just going to eat them, even if I'm full. But it's like, it's just a bite. So I'm just going to eat it. Like he will literally leave 1 or 2 bites on his plate.
Yeah.
Like, because he's just
I don't know if you were raised with the Clean Plate Club.
I sure
But
was.
I was raised with the Clean Plate Club, and you did not leave food on your plate, and so
No,
I have that
not
same
allowed.
thing. I'm like, "It's just 2 bites. I can't eat it. Anybody else want these? No? Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and eat them then."
Yep, that's right. So maybe someday I'll graduate to my son's level because he is like the Jedi of when he's full, when he's done, he's done. It doesn't, because he didn't pay for the food, and I didn't raise him in the Clean Plate Club, so he's never had that thing where he's like, "Oh, you got to clean your plate." Like he's never had that. So when he's full, he just stops eating. It's it's crazy, but crazy good, crazy awesome.
Yeah, good for him.
So cool how well he can just follow his signals, right? His satiety signals.
Yeah,
It's
that's
really
so
cool.
awesome. I'm so proud of him.
He's just over 2 years now.
That's so good.
2 years and 2 months.
That is amazing. That is amazing for a young person like him. Tell the people about your son. What happened?
Okay. What happened was my son is very awesome, and he also has ADHD, which was causing him all kinds of symptoms. And I don't just mean like how I've kind of been moving in my chair, not like that. The main symptom was lots of symptoms, right? But the main symptom that was impacting our life every single day was extreme. I cannot underscore, highlight, yell that word in all capitals enough to you. Emotional dysregulation. So he could not handle anything, nothing. If one thing happened that he didn't think that he wanted to happen or he didn't like, he would lose his ever-loving mind in a meltdown of a fit to end all fits. Man. Okay. And the difference between I'm just going to say, because people are like, well, he's just throwing a tantrum, blah, blah, blah. No. Because when a kid throws a tantrum, you can give them what they want, what they say they want, and then they will stop immediately because the purpose of the tantrum is to get their way. Okay.
Right.
Meltdowns are different because he could be melting down any kid, including my son, but anybody, a kid who is melting down, you can give them whatever they are saying that they want, and they will now tell you that they didn't ever want that anyways, and what they really wanted was the opposite of that, and they will just keep right on melting down. Okay. So this is just a dumb example, but he's melting down because he wants a toy car. This would never be what he's melting down over, but I'm just saying. And then you're like, okay, fine. After he's melting down for 20 minutes, fine, here's your car. And he'd go, I don't want that car. I wanted to watch a show. Right? Or I wanted to put the car away. That's probably a better example because usually it was the opposite of whatever the thing was. You try to just, because you can't take it anymore. Not that that's good parenting, but can't take it anymore. And then he would say that isn't what he wanted. He wanted the opposite. Okay. And he started doing this around the age of 2. So you think, okay, terrible twos, but then it's like these meltdowns, and then it's happening at school, and like the preschool doesn't know what to do with him. Right. And then, they're calling me in. They're like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. But like, they would have to remove him from the classroom because the meltdowns were so severe that they would have to remove him from the classroom and, put him into the office area. And then he just continued right on doing that. And the older he got, he was probably always physical, but because he was older and bigger, the physicality started to worry me more because he's getting bigger and stronger. Like he would hit me. There was one time where he ripped my glasses off my face and broke them. And that was at Legoland in front of like people. Because I don't even know why. He melted down, like waiting in line for a ride. He lost his mind and whatever. And he just ripped my glasses off. And, he pulled hair out of my head. So he became very extreme. Like this was extreme behavior. He would, and then other times he wasn't always, attacking me or anything, but that's not mostly what he would do. But in the most extreme moments, he would do that. But most of the time he would yell loudly, call me every name under the sun, that I was so terrible. He would be hitting things, throwing things, and then if you try to walk away, oh, how dare you adult try to walk away, he would chase you down, So there was a time when I tried to drive out of the house, like I'm leaving, like I'm not, because the more you engage with him, it just like it would keep it going, and you couldn't walk to the other room because he would just follow you. And if you locked yourself in somewhere, he would like pound on the. He's like broken things before, like pounding on the door, trying to get in there and stuff where you were. So I tried to leave the house, and so he ran behind the car and stood back there. Stuff like that. Like it was that when I say he was when I say he was emotionally dysregulated, right? He was like out of his mind, like literally.
Right.
And then afterwards, like when it would calm down, right? You had to just not, the more you engage, or even if you tried to give him consequences, like I'd always give him consequences afterwards. Like after he calmed down, we would do the consequences if I was in my right mind, if I was rational enough to do it the correct way, which that is the correct way. Believe me when I say we tried every consequence under the sun, and I'm not going to name them right now, but you could probably guess what some of those were, but I'm not going to say them on a YouTube channel.
Right.
We tried every consequence, the entire spectrum of consequences, okay? All of them. And none of them ever worked, and that's pretty typical for ADHD too. Like consequences don't sink in. Like tomorrow they'll just do it again because they don't remember the effect of the consequence, okay?
Yeah.
But he would always have one, so we were always consistent with that. And then, but afterwards, when you were talking about it with him, he would not remember. He doesn't remember doing that. He doesn't remember ripping my glasses off or like calling me names, or like he literally doesn't remember any of it.
Right.
And so that is how extreme these things would get. And like I said, this is only one symptom, but this is the one that affected our lives the most, right? Because it affected him at school when he would do that at school, and then it would affect our family at home. It was never peaceful. And he was doing this like 3 days a week.
Oh my God.
3 days a week he would do this, and they would last for like a couple hours. So it's not 5 minutes, it's like hours that this is going on. So imagine you work all day, he's been at school all day, then we come home and then we go through that. And then we're all just done. We're all just like, So that was the main thing, but we tried everything from counseling to even up to medication, ADHD medication. That was the last thing we tried, not the first thing, but all of the strategies that I know as a teacher, things from the pediatrician, things from the school counselor. We paid for outside counseling. We did occupational therapy because they teach emotional regulation and some other issues. He has other issues too, some other diagnoses and things that occupational therapy is good for, and they did help him with those. So everything under the sun, including an up to ADHD medication, which I never thought that I would try because it does have so many severe consequences. But like I said, the older and bigger he gets when he's doing this, I'm like, this is going to be untenable because he's going to be bigger than me and stronger than me. And then what's going to happen? Right.
Right. Yeah.
And so when I went carnivore, he watched me do that. He watched me for a year, just doing my thing and all the benefits and things that we've been just talking about. And then about a year in or so, I started hearing about carnivore and high-fat ketogenic diets, basically for mental health. And I started watching videos on the Metabolic Mind channel. Shout out to Metabolic Mind. I got to meet Dr. Brett Scher at COSI a few weeks ago, and he's like the doctor that does all their videos. It was super cool. And it's an awesome channel. If you have any like mental health, that's like the place to go and get some information on that topic. And then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to give this a shot, as well as the book Brain Energy, and then Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind. Although I read those after I tried it, not before, but I'm like, okay, why is this working? And so then I went and read the books. Those are great books. But I got him to agree because he's 15, right? At this point in time, he's 15, and you have to get them to sign off on it because they can really get anything they want. Here in my state, they will give you 2 free meals a day every day, breakfast and lunch. And I use the word meal lightly because it isn't food. It is a food-like substance that is mostly highly processed carbohydrates is what they're giving them. And he was eating those because I never really thought much about diet. I never thought that diet would be the reason. And he has extreme texture issues. So I was happy if he just ate anything that didn't make him like throw up because he has such extreme texture issues. Okay. But anyways, I got him to like agree to 30 days. And within like the first week, sometime in the first week, so similar to me with my anxiety kind of going away, he just started randomly cleaning his room.
I remember that.
And like trash bag after trash bag after trash bag, like 18 trash bags just made their way out of his room. Like I didn't tell him to clean his room. I didn't tell him to clean his room since he was 7 because I was done fighting that battle and I don't really care about his room. Like, that's a battle I'm not going to fight. Like, I got enough battles just trying to get him to take a shower without melting down, right? Or get through a day at, like I said, Legoland without having a major malfunction. Get through a day at school without the class having to evacuate because he's just flipping out. So I could care less about his room.
Yeah.
But randomly, he just started cleaning his room. And the cool thing was cleaning your room, especially when your room is in the state his room was in, which was like, a hazmat area. It was like a major disaster. I mean, it was piled up high. Is that it takes quite a bit of executive functioning because it's a big plan you have to make. In fact, one of the things that they would tell me is don't say clean your room. You can't tell an ADHD kid to clean their room. You have to say clean up the Legos. Then when the Legos are cleaned up, you have to say clean up the Hot Wheels or whatever. Like, you can't just say clean your room because it's like too many things and it's too overwhelming and their brain can't process that task. Their brain doesn't know how to prioritize it and break it down into smaller chunks and do it. Well, just like a weekend, he just like thought, I'm going to clean my room. And then he did clean his room. And then he was able to throw things away. Like, he never wanted to throw anything away. He like decided to throw all this stuff away. I don't know, 18, whatever. I don't even know, trash bags worth. And then everything else that he hadn't thrown away, he like organized and like put in the corner for now. And then like a week later, he like got in the mood again. And then he finished it all. Like, it was like organized into bags by categories, but then he like took it out of the bags like a week later and like set it all up the way he wanted it. Right. So like probably 3 or 4 times over the next few weeks, he just like worked on that project a little bit more. And now it's not like the room is perfect, but like it's pretty clean most of the time. And it'll get to this threshold. And then he'll just every now and again, he's like, oh, I'm cleaning my room today. And he'll just do it.
Wow. That's shocking.
Which is shocking. And that's the first positive thing I noticed. Like, that's not why we did it. I don't care about his room. Okay. But it shows that he had extreme improvement in his executive function, because even with me in there trying to clean his room with him, he would refuse to help and clean his room. He would just dig in his heels and not do it. And so he just did it all on his own. And then the other thing I'll say, because I'm sorry, like, it's kind of a long story, but the last thing I'll say is 3 meltdowns a week. Okay. 2 years and 2 months, and he has had 1 meltdown that entire time.
Wow. Good for him.
Robyn, like a switch. That 1 meltdown was not even at the beginning. It was like, I don't even know, like a year in, whatever. Something happened. He didn't like it. He lost it for a minute. But he got it back together a lot faster. But anyway, my point is, it was like a light switch.
Wow. That's
amazing. He just didn't do it anymore. And I was like, what?
Yeah, that is really, really awesome.
Yeah.
And I think, we talk a lot about kids and ketogenic diets, ways of eating carnivore for kids. And I think people are nervous about it, but that story, I'm like, I need to go home and let my daughter watch this video. We need to sit down together, watch this video, because them kids be cutting up.
Yes.
They be cutting up.
It was severe. Like, I'm not trying to like because people are like, you're telling all you're airing your son's dirty laundry, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's not, there's nothing, like, it was something that was disordered in his brain. Like, I'm not mad at him. This was just our experience. It's not to like throw shade on him or anything like that. That is not the reason. And also, he has come on a video with me, so he is fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
trying to get both other people
for staying the course, because as a teenager, it's hard. Everybody around you eating all the stuff.
Yes.
They eating the Takis and they're eating the candy and all the stuff. And like you said, in the school, there's just, 2 free meals of junk food, quote unquote food. So good for him. I'm super proud of him. And that, just the fact that he has stayed the course for 2 years, I'm so impressed. So
it has to be helping him. If it wasn't helping him and he didn't feel better, why would he sit here just eating chuck roast?
Right.
Like, he wouldn't. He would go back to eating pizza.
Right. I remember when he was getting on this, and it was like these textural things, like, what will he eat? Because he was, funny about the textures of things. So that's
I just did a video with a new friend I met at COSI. Her name is Susie. And she does have a keto candy company. I'm like, I'm going to get all kind of hate from this. But the topic of the video, and I didn't actually, it was kind of good. The topic of the video was, is that even carnivore? Because there are some people that will tell you, if you are making carnivore recipes, whatever the substitution foods, right? The title had to do with substitution foods. Is
Mm-hmm.
that even carnivore? Well, guess what? My son ate those substitution foods full time for that first month and then gradually weaned off of them on his own. I did not make him do that. He just
Right.
decided. But and that thing about cleaning his room happened within that first like week to 2 weeks. When he
Right.
was eating the carnivore chicken nuggets that I made with ground chicken, pork panko, like it was a recipe. He was eating carnivore pancakes. Those are the ones that get the hate. The
Yeah.
carnivore pancakes get the hate because it's like, that's not carnivore. Like only if you're eating beef or whatever. I don't, whatever. People say different things, right? But they really have hate for all those like carnivore pancake type of things. If
Uh-huh.
it wasn't for those carnivore pancakes, he would not have transitioned to eggs. Now he eats eggs and sausage. He hasn't had a carnivore pancake in a year. So the
Yeah.
topic of that video with Susie was there is a place for things like that.
Right.
And even like if you're going carnivore, but like your kids aren't, maybe some keto type treats would be a lot
Yeah.
better than the highly processed whatever candy that they might be getting from what, you know, it's a better option, right? So that's kind of what we were talking about. And I really enjoyed talking to Susie. And I really appreciated that because I see those comments, and even though they're not aimed at me, like I take it a little like not personally, but it's like I feel a little, because I'm like, my son, like he needed that.
Yeah.
He would not. Now his favorite is chuck roast. He eats a lot of chuck roast. He eats a lot of burger patties, and he eats a lot of chicken thighs, and that's mostly what he
Mhm.
eats. And eggs and sausage every day.
Yeah.
But if I started him there, he would have looked at me. He wouldn't. The textures would have bugged him. He
Yeah.
wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I had
Right.
to trick his palate. I had to give him things that were more like what his palate was used to.
Yep.
And then he was ready to transition over to the other stuff. And it just happened naturally. And any keto, because he did have like a keto cookie that we started him on because he was definitely addicted to sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And he just gradually stopped asking me to make them.
Yeah.
I didn't tell him you need to get off those sweeteners or something. He just
Right.
stopped asking for them after a while.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the purpose. That's the like, I don't know, the spot, I guess, in this way of eating for those types of things.
Absolutely. Well, I'm super proud of him. Please tell him
Thanks, Robyn.
his grandma is proud of him.
I will tell him that she said so.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so we're like almost out of time.
I'm sorry. I did a lot of talking.
No, it's okay. No, I wanted to hear the update on your son, and I'm so glad that he's doing so well. That's awesome. So tell us what else. What else has changed over this past almost 3 years?
So first when I went carnivore at the beginning, it was like my aches and pains went away, and then it was like I just felt like exercising, so I did. You know, I sprinted and I would do all these exercise challenges, and then for some reason, I don't really know why, I just kind of fell off doing them. But like recently, it was like I just had this, well, I started doing a fitness challenge with Courtney Luna, although I'm not doing it exactly like she is, but she inspired me, we'll say. And so I'm doing like a squats and push-ups challenge that I've been on for almost a month now. I started March 15th. And then it was like I was doing that every day. And maybe about the 10th day in, I just got this like, I want to go out and sprint. Like I got to move. Like I got to run. Okay. So, I mean, I'm 50 years old. So I'm back at it. So I'm not sprinting every day because that was not smart. I did not think that through before, but I'm sprinting every other day. So like I did not sprint today, but I'll sprint tomorrow. And I sprinted yesterday.
Good
Yes.
for you. Yeah,
So
that's
it's
good.
like crazy the kind of stuff you'll try, you know, with this way of eating. That's what's changed. And I'm watching everyone around me go downhill. But here I am like, nope, I don't feel like I am.
No, you are not. You look great and you're doing great. Yes, I understand that because I was talking, I've been in this workshop this week and I've been getting like 3,000 steps a day. And I'm like, this is absolute insanity. Like I was telling them, like, I'm used to getting like 12, 13, 14,000 steps a day. And I'm sitting all day long. I feel like I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Yeah. So it just takes a lot of intentionality when you're in a workshop all day long to try to get some movement and get up and move around, you know. But yeah, I'm getting like 3,000 steps a day. That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't track my steps, but I know that we teachers get a lot of steps.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did like a short about it. We don't, people think, I think some people think that we just like sit at our desk and like teach from a desk. And that's actually not, at least in elementary school, what we do at all. Like I am on my feet, just like I'm just walking the room, pacing the room all day long because I got to walk
Yep.
by all the kids that want to try to pull something off that they shouldn't be doing. And it's called
Right.
proximity. And that is a teacher trick. And when I am nearby, they're not going to try it. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm giving them a little bit of taste of my proximity to
Yeah.
keep them in line. And so, yeah, I'm walking. I walk. I'm on my feet all day. I notice a difference. Like I just had spring break, and on
Mhm.
spring break, I know I'm a little bit lazy. And although I was
Mm.
doing my sprints and stuff, but I wasn't getting all the steps in, and I do start to feel it. I do start to get the inkling to like I should go for a walk. And when I'm
Yes.
teaching, I don't usually get that inkling because it's like I walked enough.
Right, yeah, makes sense, makes sense.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, so I've gotta get some steps in over the weekend. I'm going home, and then I'll be back out here again next week, so but
Okay.
I gotta go get some steps in at my house.
Go do it. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Well, we've been at this for an hour, Robyn, but you know what? I think we need to do another because we only got through, I think, like 3 benefits.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to do it again.
Do it again. We'll do it again. Absolutely.
Yes.
So we'll just
Love it.
contact me behind the scenes and we'll schedule another one of these because I always like
Alright.
talking to you.
I know, one of my carnivore besties.
Yes, absolutely. We don't see each other enough.
Absolutely. All right, you guys. Well, thank you for hanging out with Cristie and I. And it's just so good to see you, Cristie, and catch up and hear all about how things are changing and the stuff that's going on, all the amazing benefits that you've had. And so we'll come back again, you guys. Be on the lookout for part 3 of Carnivorous Grandma Speaks with Cristie at Meeting Wellness. All
Let's
right.
do it.
See y'all
Bye.
next time. Bye, everybody.